Hi there. Now, I'm making this video because in a way, I feel that because of the tight schedule, we didn't have time to go through a proper introduction in lesson 1. And I think it might be a good idea to create a video to make a more thorough introduction to the structure of LABU2052. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the cases, introduce very briefly the cases that we are going to go through in this coming semester, and of course to give you a little bit of impression of what the assignment will be about. So to begin with, it says the first case, the marketing case, the one with clock key. Now, we are using the clock key case only for session 1. And that is because we would like something more specifically about audience awareness. Now, we put this audience awareness thing in the very beginning of the course because this is one of the key features of LABU2052. See, in LABU2051, a lot of you have been putting a lot of emphasis on the content when you create the writing and prepare for the presentation of the cases. What might be lacking in some of the performances is that it is not audience specific, it is not audience centered. And this is important because whenever you write and whenever you present for an audience, what exactly you need to do is to make something clear or solve a problem for the people who will be reading your work or listening to your presentation. And if the way you present those ideas is not audience-centered, then you're not specifically addressing their needs. You're just talking about the content, which can fit most people, but that's not enough in business communication. And that's why in LABU2052 we would like to stress that audience awareness is as important as content. In fact, this element will be reflected in the assessment criteria of all the assessments in LABU2052. And that leads us to the first case with assessment. We'll notice that the clock key case does not come with any assessment. So when session 1 is done, the clock key case is also done. The second case is the management case with Kitchen Best. And we will begin talking about this case in session 2. And this case will last for 4 sessions. Now, what the management case with Kitchen Best is about is this company called Kitchen Best, obviously, has an internal management issue. And you, working as a team, will be assumed the position of management consultant. And what you need to do is to suggest ways to improve the managerial issues in the company. The first assignment is to create a recommendation report for the CEO of Kitchen Best to analyze the problems that you observed and outline the root causes to the problems. Now notice that in this writing you only need to pick one of the multiple problems in the company to make a recommendation on, only one. But then in the next assignment of the same management case, the presentation, you will need to analyze all the problems and give recommendations to all the problems. So that's how the presentation is different from the writing. What is also different between the two assignments of the management case is the audience. Because apparently the writing assignment is intended for the CEO, but then the presentation is intended for the managerial team of the company. Now, in the lesson, we'll find out more about how these two audiences are different and why it is advised that you try to address them differently. The third case that we will go through in LABU2052 is the capstone case, the one with the zero-fee tour. Now, capstone is actually a case competition. It is going to happen at the beginning of May. Case competition is something related to presentation. But only 3 teams will enter the final, and all the instructors of the LABU teaching team will decide which 3 teams will enter the final. And to compete for a position in the final, which we have 3 positions there, everybody will get to present once for the capstone case. And the first round presentation of the capstone case will be a part of the assessment of LABU2052. Now, notice that your performance in the capstone final is not counted in your assessment, only the first round. So this zero-fee tour thing is actually related to how a travel agency, I mean the company in the case, is considering whether or not they should adopt the model of zero-fee tour in order to boost their sales. And you, as a team, your job is to analyze the situation for the company and decide whether or not the company should adopt the zero-fee tour model, and also to design the business model for the company. So to sum up, there are 3 pieces of assessment. Number 1 is the management case writing. Number 2 is the management case presentation, and number 3 is the capstone case presentation. And that's basically it with the structure of LABU2052. Yeah, so if you have any further questions about the course, please do not hesitate to drop me an email, or well, preferably ask me on Facebook, and we'll keep in touch. See ya.